All right, we are on day number 9 of our Dragster project, which is our final day. So today, like we do with other projects, you are going to be thinking back, reflecting, evaluating the project and the work that you've put into this. When you answer some of these conclusion questions and you evaluate, we want you to write complete sentences. It's just a good way to communicate in a professional manner, and that's what we're practicing for that one day when we have a job and we have to be able to communicate in that regard. And we want you to explain your answers in as much detail as you can. This is your opportunity to share with your teachers what you've learned throughout the whole project, all the stuff that we've done going through this design process. What have you learned along the way? And adding those details into your answers and explaining yourself really lends to us being able to see what you've gotten out of this project. And then when you are done with everything, we want you to submit your design notebook. So our essential question that should guide us today as we're thinking back on this whole project is, what could I do to improve? If I've got a dragster that I built, what could I do to, if I had to do this again or got to do this again, what could I improve to make it a faster car? Because that was ultimately our goal, make the fastest car possible. So could I have done something in the building process or the designing or the planning phase? What could I have done along the way just to improve that velocity and make it faster? At this point, let's pause this video and open up your design notebook. In our design notebook now, in the project plan, if I scroll down to day number 9, you can see that we are just going to answer the conclusion questions and then submit our design notebook like I just mentioned. So let's click on the bookmark here to drop us down to that part of our design notebook. And you see here again our essential question, what can I do to improve, or what could I do to improve the velocity of my dragster? As you are answering these questions again, I cannot reiterate enough, make sure that you are using complete sentences and explain your answers in as much detail. Really tell us what you've learned. So some of the questions that you must answer. First of all, what was my biggest challenge completing this project, and why was that such a challenge for me? Second question, during the dragster activities, what was the most important lesson that you learned as you did all of this stuff? So in this whole design process of taking an idea and actually building and creating something and testing it out, what was the most important thing that you're going to take away from this process? Specifically thinking about how cars work and drive and aerodynamics, like we've been studying, what are 2 different forces that affect your dragster? And then when a car is driving, where do they affect your dragster? Where are they working on your car? Or where are they pushing your car or pulling your car or causing it to slow down? How does that affect, how do those forces affect how your car drives? So those are 3 questions that everyone must answer. Then you have some options with these others in terms of you should answer it or you could aspire to answer those. Are there 2 other forces that act on a car? What can be done to counteract the unwanted effects? So if I don't want my car to slow down and I just want it to keep driving fast, what could I do to make that happen? That would be, something that you could do to counteract that force, that something, whatever it is, that's slowing down your vehicle as it drives. When you look back at your data, is there a relationship between mass and velocity? So if you go back to day number 8 and you look at those data charts, is there a relationship between the mass of something and how fast it goes? And then I want you to compare your car, your information, your data to another student in class, one of your classmates. Maybe you could compare it to the data that I gave you as a teacher. You could compare it, you might have to ask somebody else. Okay, how did their car go when you raced your car against your classmates? Was your car faster? Was it slower? Why was that the case? Why were there differences between those cars? And then there is one more question that you must answer. And this gets back to our essential question as well. What changes would you incorporate to improve the velocity of your dragster? Okay, so thinking back on all of this again, what would you change around with how you did it, or moving forward and doing this again, how would you change that in the future? All right, once you get done with that, you can do your daily summary. You see the red stop sign, which is the end of day number 9. And then at this point, you are all done. So make sure that you turn in this project so we can grade it. We hope you had fun with this.